Oh my God!
It's not even moving.
We are joined by a very special guest. He is a big-time director.
So I have to ask, what is your technique for having people act against imaginary things?
Thank you to ExpressVPN for sponsoring today's episode. Stay tuned to the end to learn how you can get your first 3 months free.
Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Visual Effects Artists React. Today, we are joined by a very special guest, David F. Sandberg.
Hello, also known as Pony Smasher.
That's right.
YouTube.
He is a big-time director. He's done 3 Hollywood films. On top of being a director, you're also a visual effects artist.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, Shazam, there's not a lot of finals, but for everything I've done a lot of temp work.
Well, I think we'll be taking a look at some of those today. I am a big fan of like smoke simulations, and those are some really cool smoke simulations.
The thing was that they were actually supposed to always have a bit of steam or smoke, and I actually found this reference of like a warm horse on a cold winter day. that was sort of steaming the whole time.
Totally.
But then as you get closer and closer to deadlines, it's just like smoke simulations take forever to calculate.
They do, yeah. You have to kind of like pick and choose your battles.
It was really hard actually getting that look right, because I didn't want it to seem like it's geometry that just smoke comes out of when they turn into smoke. Like I wanted to feel that, no, they actually turn into smoke. The boardroom scene was actually a reshoot. They had to really hurry to get that done in time. And it was that thing of like, okay, we have to shoot that first, give it to the VFX house so they can start working on it right away. And you don't have time for a lot of revisions. In that shot, Greed in the back there, his animation is not great. He's just sort of,
He's kind of like standing
he's
here.
just doing this thing, but it was just like, we don't really have time.
Yeah.
Because again, you know, animation takes forever, because first you have to lock down the main animation, and then you have to do all the secondaries, the flabby skin or the muscles or the drool in their mouths and everything.
Visual effects studios never intend to make like bad effects. It's
It's
usually
running out of time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, what is your technique for having people act against imaginary things?
Well, here we had stunt guys in like gray kind of motion capture suits, but we didn't actually capture the motions. They were just there for something to look at. So you basically shoot things 3 times. You know, you shoot it once with an actor and then like a stunt double in a suit, and then you shoot it with just the actor reacting to nothing, and then you shoot a clean plate. What the visual effects folks would prefer is to add the monsters into the plate with just the actors reacting to nothing, but their reactions won't look as good as the shots where you have a stunt guy in there.
Exactly. You've made a video kind of talking about this scene on your own YouTube channel. It's a fantastic video. I highly recommend you check it out. But there's one thing in particular that blew me away. You actually had your crew in the scene unintentionally.
Yeah.
And you had to fix that in post.
Well, because we realized it so late that they were still in the shot and we'd forgotten to paint them out, we came up with this idea of like, well, let's paint in little shopping bags in their hands. And like one of them there, you know, it has a little mop bucket you can see a little later. They still don't really react to a man flying in a shopping mall. Certain things you just get blind to, because of course we're looking at him. Is he looking all right?
That side shot of him flying, if I really look closely, it looks like it's a 3D double there, right?
Oh yeah, him, Savannah flying and Sack flying. I mean, his entire body is CG when he's, you know, trying to jump. They've match moved his actual movement, because we had him on a big rig that's kind of like a seesaw, right? Even if you paint the rigs out, you can still tell, like, okay, this is where he was attached, and you can like it. You don't get that fluid movement, so you have to often just recreate the motion and do a CG double instead.
Interesting, okay.
So sometimes it's like, well, maybe we should have just not shot it with him and just done it all CGI, but at the same time, you do get a lot of reference for lighting and everything.
Yeah,
so
yeah, you know exactly what it should look like because you filmed it for real, even if it's not being used.
Yeah, I think they were able to actually take his real head and put it on there, because the CG head didn't look quite right.
Okay.
It's funny how you can have a CG body and it doesn't look fake, but just the head, stands out. So there's a scene here. You know what? Let's just take a look at it. I'd love to get your thoughts.
Looks like it floats around a bit.
As a still frame, This looks completely real.
Yeah, I've been in that situation many times where you're in a visual effects review and it's like, this doesn't look real, but I don't know what notes to give. Because it's like, well, that shadow looks right, that looks right, but as a whole, something just screams fake about it.
If I were to try to figure out what it is that makes this shot look fake, well, for one, it's The Rock's head is filmed separately from the body, so he's trying to mimic a movement, and the compositor is trying to animate it all to fit, but they're not actually all moving the same way. And motion is one of those things that like everybody's so finely tuned for. It's hard to always express what looks weird, but like we can always feel it if the motion's not weird, because we're also familiar with physics and gravity and how things should move and inertia. But the other one is that the lighting on his head, the angle of the lighting on his head doesn't actually really match the angle of the lighting in the world. On the left there, that backpack strap is pretty much getting direct light hitting from the front left a little bit, but his face is in shadow on the front left. And then the collar isn't putting any shadow on his neck. And that's always one of those challenging things of like a CG costume where something fake, like touching somebody, you have that contact shadow and everything.
If you aren't already, please consider subscribing, because that'll help you actually see whenever these videos come out when they come out, so that you can be the first to tell your friends about what's in these episodes. So speaking of heads, there's this character in a TV show called Watchmen, a show that I adore, by the way. It's amazing. There's a character named Mirror Guy. Technically his name is Looking Glass.
Mirror Guy, that's my superhero name.
He has this mask on that's very reflective, and the effects here are kind of invisible, but also super in your face. Looking Glass's head, that mask, 100% computer generated. But what makes it work so well are the reflections. The one shot out of this entire show that blew me away the most is when he takes out that yellow rag and he wipes his head.
It's a perfect reflection.
But it's the proximity of that reflection.
Yeah, how did they...
It's like you actually get like that surface contact. When you put your hand up against a mirror, you can actually see the underside of your hand against the mirror, and you kind of get that same effect here.
Yeah, that's crazy.
First off, they get a 360 image for the reflection of everywhere. But that's not everything. They also actually reproject all of that information onto 3D geometry, because the problem with a 360 image is that everything is the same distance from the center of that sphere. And if you're trying to do interactive reflections where he's actually moving through space, the reflection of a desk in the background is going to be the same size as someone standing next to the camera, at least in terms of depth. So they had to project the images onto that to get proper parallax of the reflections. In addition to that, they actually put a GoPro on his face.
Really?
For all of the actual high detail close-up reflections.
Oh, so
that's what's actually
he's
coming.
leaning in, they're using
yeah,
the GoPro?
exactly.
That is so much work. You were almost like, well, would it have been better to just paint out the cameras? But I think part of it is that you can't create a mask like that. They
initially, when they planned this show, they wanted to actually have it for real and do it practically and just paint out the camera. Except for the fact that they couldn't get a material that could do both, be stretchy enough to fit over his head and also be reflective enough to be that mirror-like effect that they were going for.
Sorry, I got a seed stuck there or something.
Being a director, of course, I'm just thinking I wonder if they had to cut scenes with Looking Glass because the studio was like, oh, this is too expensive. Less scenes with him.
Who knows?
Maybe he was the star of the show. And they were like, nope.
Yeah, they did a lot of cloth animations and simulations to get that mask to fit to his head. Yeah. But again, they also had an actual mask form-fitted around his head, so they knew exactly how to make it look.
So usually we ask for comments for scenes or shows or movies that we should react to, but I'm gonna ask for something different this time. If there is a guest that you think we should get on the show, please leave that in a comment below.
Because they've obviously run out of ideas.
Don't say Captain Disillusion. We know, we're trying. We'd love to have him on. What would you say is probably the best VFX shot you've done on a feature movie?
I like the end credits of Annabelle Creation. Did that in Blender. Just scanned in a whole bunch of Bible pages and then sort of modeled them so they looked right and did the camera move.
You just did that in your bedroom at home?
In Blender, yeah.
That's a Blender right there?
This is real, like a real photo that's projected. And then as soon as the camera sort of turns here, now this is all CGI.
Ah, yes.
So it was a long sequence. Took a while to render on my laptop.
You did feature visual effects on a laptop.
How did you learn Blender? What got you into it? How did you train yourself?
Blender guru and YouTube. I mean, that's where you can learn all this software and all these guys making great stuff. It's really inspiring.
All right, so to wrap things up here, we're gonna look at one more clip. It's so there's Jaws, there was Jaws 2, and there was Jaws 3D. So yeah, let's take a look at that. Let's see, let's react to that. There it is.
Oh my God!
It's not even moving.
Look at that glass.
You're supposed to be like scared, but I just can't help but be pulled out of it. It doesn't look like the shark's there at all.
The shark also just stops. As soon as he hits the glass, he just becomes motionless. It's almost like you freeze frame, like boop. Yeah, I mean, like the comps.
Look at that black edge.
Yeah.
That black outline you're talking about is from the track mats not perfectly aligning, right?
Yeah. In our Star Wars VFX Artist React, we talk about this some more. And if you want to get an idea of how visual effects were done back in the day before computers, definitely go check out that video. That's cool.
Whoa.
That looks cool.
Okay.
I dig it. Some cool
Yeah.
practical whoop.
Okay,
And
now
there are the jaws.
It's way too literal.
Dude, just like great. Straight up got got gibbed like a Quake 3 character. Look at the guts. Look at the lower intestines.
Wait a minute,
flying.
is that a liquid simulation?
I mean,
like a really
it
low
almost looks
resolution?
like they painted, like it's animated or something, like hand animated or almost. It looks very strange because it almost has a drop shadow.
But it's got like that classic low resolution liquid simulation look to it where it's all just kind of like globular.
There's no way. In 1983, there's no way.
So you're suggesting that they painted it?
I don't know, it's almost too smooth, but I mean, yeah, it's almost like just 2D animation, you know?
Right.
Are those eyeballs?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Just two giant eyeballs flying out of the shark?
Yeah, the size don't match at all because the eyes are much bigger than the jaws there.
And the fact that the eyes are in the foreground but composited behind the
Yeah.
jaws in the background.
And just none of the frame rates match.
It's okay, this movie's almost 40 years old.
Also, shark skeletons are made out of cartilage, not bone. So that's just another error in this movie.
I've learned something today.
Hey guys, Brandy O'Daniel here, and I heard that on this very show back in November, Sam and the boys did a little ExpressVPN sponsorship segment that I thought would be fun to go through right now and just see what happens when I'm not in the brand segment. So let's hop into it.
Hi, my name's Sam Gorski, co-founder of Corridor Digital. I'm here today to tell you about a word from one of our sponsors, ExpressVPN.
That's pretty good. That's really nice and smooth intro. It's well lit. And he kind of does a little point, which makes me feel special and lets me know that this video is sponsored by ExpressVPN.
This is a VPN. It's for privacy. It basically encrypts and helps keep your data safe.
This is good. Sam immediately starts with what they call the talking points. You know, he starts talking about what a VPN does, how it gives you extra security, and how it gives you extra privacy when you're on the internet so that your information isn't just out there to the open internet. The first time I used it, I totally noticed, you know, the privacy, the security, even the content unblocking.
Whether you're a Chrome guy, a Firefox gal, or a Safari, whatever, the ExpressVPN has an extension for every single one of those.
And now I know that ExpressVPN can pretty much be found on any platform, on any device.
Less than $7 a month with a 30-day money-back guarantee.
This is my favorite part, right here. Watch what Sam does, this little diddly.
CORRIDORCREW. And you can go to EXPRESSVPN.com. Look at that.
Look at that. And then Ren comes in with the double tap because you never really hear information until you hear it 2 or 3 times. So if you guys go to expressvpn.com/corridorcrew, you'll get 3 months free just by signing up with the link in the description below. Wow, that was really good. I better be careful, they might almost put me out of a job here. I mean, till next time, Brandy O'Daniel, catch you on the flip side.
Well, thank you so much for watching, and David, thank you so much for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure.
Thank you,
Honestly,
Brad.
kind of an honor having somebody that has such a body of work that you have, but also a willingness to share that information, come out here and talk to us, and show everybody the process of creating this art form, and that's super, super cool. I hope you keep it up.
I will. Thank you.
Yeah, and best of luck with your future projects.
Thank you.
You're working on Shazam 2 now, right? Like pre-production and writing.
Yes, so that's coming out in April of 22.
Oh, dang, that's still 2 years away.
I know,
Whoa.
So I know what I'm doing for the next 2 years.
I will be seeing you in 2022, April.
Yes, and I'll be very tired.